Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what were to happen if I had a rejected return. So in my queue right here under exceptions and rejects, I have a federal rejection. So this return got rejected. Let's go ahead and take a look, and it's because of the primary name. So the social security number and the primary name do not match up, and so this return got pushed back down. I could fix that real easily by just getting the social security card from my taxpayer, making the correction right here on the client data, and resubmitting that return. Let's say though that I was just inside of a return, and I wanted to see if it had any rejects and errors. What I could do is from inside that return, I could go to the return menu, and I could then go to the rejects and errors tab. This one has no rejects, has no bank rejects, it has no verify information or any alerts of any kind, so this return's good. But if it did have any rejects, they would show up right here, and I would then be able to double click on those rejects and they would take me to the appropriate place in my return. Alright, one last thing before I let you go here, guys, and that's how to look up the status of a return. You can always transmit in to your main office or to the to central site and pick up any new statuses of returns. This will update their status with any status that we have. But if you just want to make double sure, you just want to really take a look at a return and make sure what's going on with it is the most up-to-date information, you can use our quick lookup tool. So right here from the menu, you can press quick and you can type in the social of a taxpayer. And let me grab one that we just knew was rejected that will have a quick lookup status. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this social security number. And we'll now go back to our work in progress screen. And I'm going to use that quick lookup tool one more time. And I'm going to search. And we should now see that this taxpayer was actually rejected. And if I wanted to, I could then go and take a look at their bank app or go fix this return if I needed to. I just open it up and see that IRS rejection code.
So let's go over how to import a customer from Crosslink into TaxShield software, generate their advance check, and print it for them. So once a return has been completed in Crosslink and all of the forms and signatures have been collected, go to the menu at the top of the application, select Return, and at the bottom of the menu, there will be an option to send the client data. Go ahead and click on this, and a confirmation pop-up will display that this data has been sent successfully. The next thing from here is to go to www.gettaxshield.com and log into your account so we can import the customer that we just sent from Crosslink. And to add a customer, the first thing you're going to have to do is select the Customers tab from the Customer menu on the left-hand portion of the screen. And from there, to add a customer to your database, click the green plus sign at the bottom right portion of the screen. And this will open up a field that requires the client's social security number to be entered. And usually, if you forgot it, you can just go back to the return and copy and paste that here. And this will pull up the customer's profile. Go ahead and scroll to the bottom of the profile and click Next, and this will display the return information. Go ahead and click Next, and the application will then ask you if you'd like to check for advanced eligibility, or would you just like to save the customer info. If you save the customer info, what's going to happen is all the information that you collected for the customer so far will be saved into your customer database. But since this customer is interested in our advanced program, we're going to go ahead and click Check Advanced Eligibility so we can see if this return qualifies for the advanced criteria that we have set for our program. So once we click Check Advanced Eligibility, we'll get a notification that'll pop up to let us know what kind of advances the customer qualifies for, the amount of them, and also if for some reason they weren't accepted or they didn't get approved, it will display the reasoning as well. So go ahead and select OK and click Next to be able to print the TILA disclosures, which these disclosures are documents that just full of legalese designed to protect you and the customer for this advanced program, and it goes over the details of that. And it's very crucial to note that the TILA disclosures are very important. The application will not allow you to continue until it knows that you've printed the TILA disclosures and had them signed. Now, the most important step in this whole process can be one of the biggest headaches if it's overlooked or neglected, because the next step that we have to do after we have the TILA signed is we have to take the total advance amount that the client's been approved for, copy and paste that number back into the return that we got from Crosslink and make sure that we put that into the pre-authorized debit amount or the PAD amount in the client data sheet for the client. This will make sure that you have all your ducks in a row when it comes to collecting your fees when this return is dispersed by the IRS. So when you're done with that, make sure that you save the return, because if you don't save the return, then the information that you just entered, which is the PAD amount, it technically won't be in the return if you submit it, because the new information that you just input wasn't saved. So let's go back into TaxShield software, because from here, the application, before we print the check, is going to ask us one last time to verify that we have had the client sign the tiller disclosures that we printed earlier. And we do have them signed, so we can go ahead and proceed and click yes, and the system from here will then generate the check for the name of the client that we processed. Once the check has been released, we can then go to the checks queue menu, and from there we can print the check. So while we're in the checks queue menu, you'll see all of the checks that are currently available to be printed. So go ahead and locate the check for our client that's to be printed and click print once to the right of that check, and this will begin the check printing process. And once the check's been printed, the status of the check will be updated to printed in both the checks queue and the customer profile. And voila, you have another satisfied customer. Don't forget to ask for referrals. Let's take a quick look at the referral module. This module is where the referral list is maintained and monitored. It's important to note that the referrer is the person bringing the customer or the referred person, in this case, test demo, to the office, and does not necessarily have to be a customer themselves in order to be a referrer in the system. So to add a new referrer, just go ahead and click the green plus sign at the bottom right portion of the page here. This will go ahead and pull up the personal information of the referrer that will need to be added, and just go ahead and put the information into the fields provided, and that way we'll have all the information we need for the referrer so that we can go ahead and save them into the system. So we'll just go ahead and put in some data here just so we can get through this pretty quickly, just for illustration purposes. Go ahead and scroll to the bottom of the page when you're finished and click Save. When you click Save, you get a notification to let you know that the referrer's information has been saved successfully to the system. And the next step would be adding the referred customer to the referrer's profile. Now, in order for a referred customer to be added to a referrer's profile, the referred customer's return must have already been entered into TaxShield software from the data entry software that you use, or else the referred customer will not be able to be added to the referrer's list. So once we find the referrer that we'd like to print the check out for, we add them by clicking the green plus sign to the right of the referrer's profile that you'd like to add the customer to. Scroll to the bottom and click the Add Referral button, which will then ask for the social security number of the referred customer for verification that a return was processed for this specific customer and that all the qualifications match the records in your database. Once the correct social security number has been entered, that particular customer will be added to the referrer's profile and will be unable to be added to any other referrer's profile moving forward. Once everything matches on both ends, you'll see an approval notification, and then a referral check in the name of the referrer will then be made available in the checks queue menu for printing. At the same time, a text message will be generated and sent to the referrer informing them that their check is ready for pickup. Let's go over how to set up the text campaigns in TaxShield software. To begin this, we're either going to have to be logged into an owner account or an admin account, and then from there, go ahead and scroll down to the phone settings menu and click text. Now, to add a new text campaign, we're going to have to scroll to the bottom right of the screen and click the green plus sign to add a new campaign. From here, this will pull up your campaign details where you'll label the campaign, you'll assign the campaign type that you'd like to roll out, and also you can construct the actual message that will be sent out to the clients. And lastly, you can test it and send it to yourself before sending it to your clients, so you can see what it looks like before you actually send it out to clients and the campaign is live. So the first thing you'll need to do, if you haven't created a campaign yet, you first must configure your default campaign number. The default campaign number is the default number that your clients will receive when you initiate text campaigns, and this is initiated in the phone settings under My Numbers. We went over the My Numbers menu in the Buying Phone Number snapshot video, so we'll just assume that we already have a default campaign number set up for this account. Now, the cool part about this module is that there are 4 types of text campaigns that we can initiate from right here. There's a mass text blast that we can start, an appointment text, a referral alert, or a text back campaign. So let's take a look and see how quick it is to set up a mass text campaign in TSS. The first thing we're going to do is click the green plus sign at the bottom right portion of the screen to get a campaign started. Now, I already filled out some of the values so we can save some time on this, but what we want to do is we want to let our clients know the day that we'll be opening. So we're going to go ahead and label this campaign opening day. The campaign type is going to be a mass text blast, and I've already constructed the message and let them know that, hey, how's it going? This is Devin from TaxShield letting you know that we'll be opening our doors soon. Can't wait to see you again. Thanks. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is import our client list so that TSS knows who we want to send a text message to. TSS will only need 3 fields of information for this, and that's the first name, last name, and the phone number of the client with no spaces or dashes for all of these fields. To begin the import process, just go ahead and click on the Download Sample File button, and this will display the format the client list will need to be in. The simplest way to do this is export the client list from your data entry software and copy and paste the required fields into this sheet under the first row. The first row will have to be left as is because this is the format type the application needs in order to send the messages to all the clients in the list. Once the list looks good, save it somewhere easy to find and then go back into TSS and click the Import Contacts button and import that CSV file that we just saved. You'll see a notification that will inform you that the list was successfully uploaded, and it will display the number of contacts that was imported as well. You can then click the clipboard to view all the names and numbers for everybody that was included in this list. Now we're almost done here, but before we send the text message to everybody in that list, we can see what the message will actually look like by clicking the test button, and from here, a panel will open up in which you can put your cell phone number, and TSS will send one text message to that number so you can actually see what the message looks like as if you were a customer yourself. This way you can make sure the text message looks great and everything is up to par. Lastly, don't forget to click save, and that'll save the text campaign into the campaign list right here. So let's walk through the sending part of the campaign where we actually send the mass text. We confirm that we have all the clients uploaded, and this confirmation box will pop up verifying the cost of sending the message as well as the number of texts that will be sent out. Once send has been selected, the application will start working on the back end and start pushing out all the messages to all your clients. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The coolest part of this module is getting a notification from the text log informing you that a client has responded to you. The text log is where you'll manage and interact with all of the clients that you sent text messages to so far. If you want to sort the list by messages that haven't been viewed or responded to yet, you can just go ahead and click the little tab at the top of the page and it will sort all of those messages for you. You can open up a conversation thread by clicking the magnifying glass, and that'll open up the entire thread and include all the messages outgoing and incoming. To assign a contact name to the phone number, just go ahead and click the pencil at the top of the page in the thread, and that way you'll be able to update the personal phone number's contact information and assign a name to it, so you'll actually be able to interact with the customer on a first name basis. You can also delete a thread at any time by clicking the trash icon in the Actions panel. So to wrap it all up, I just wanted to highlight that all of this was performed and executed from the convenience of our laptop, making the text module in TaxShield software one of the most invaluable tools at your disposal. Texting has been the quickest way to communicate back and forth for years now, and you may not always open an email when you get it, but if you get a text, you'll definitely look at it because it only takes a second. And we've given you all the tools to take advantage of this medium, so no stone is unturned when it comes to marketing your business and making it as visible as possible. The call tracking platform is a very powerful hub that allows you to purchase phone numbers, track all of your incoming phone calls, listen to the audio playback for them, route calls where they need to be routed to, view phone analytics, and export important metrics across the entire operation of your business straight to your email address. So let's walk through a scenario where we buy a phone number and set up the routing so that when that number is called by a customer, the caller will be routed to our main office. From there, we can listen to the incoming phone calls for that number in our call log menu and receive reporting on all the metrics from the numbers that we've purchased so far. So to purchase a phone number, we're going to have to be under the phone settings in the My Numbers tab. To add a phone number, just scroll to the bottom right portion of the screen and click the green plus sign. This will pull up the channel panel where you'll be able to label the channel name and the media type for the phone number that's going to be purchased. And just a quick side note, the first number that's purchased will automatically be labeled the default campaigning number. This is the phone number that's going to be used to allow your clients to call into your business. Or if you have the text module activated, they can use this number to text you back once you've initiated a text messaging campaign. So the next step here would be in the search number box, you would be able to search for a phone number by local area code, a toll-free search, or a keyword search. And a keyword search would be like your local area code taxes or 1-800-TAX 1040, for instance. So go ahead and click on the search button, and this will display a list of all of the available phone numbers using the search criteria you just input. All of these numbers are currently available and will display if the phone number has text messaging capabilities or not. Once you found the perfect phone number, the next step is setting up what you want the caller to hear when that phone number is dialed. There's two options here. You can either type out the message manually, and this will be read out mechanically to the client when the phone number is dialed, or you can click the button here and upload an MP3 file, and this will be played when the client calls in instead. Lastly, you can decide how you want the call to be routed when the purchased phone number is dialed. And you have four options. You can use a geo-router, and we'll go over how to set up a geo-router in a couple moments. You can use the store number. You can use a direct phone number, which is either like a cell phone that you can have the calls routed to, or if you have a call center, you can use this option right here. So let's go ahead and select our store number, and I think we're all finished here. The last thing we can do is select how we want the call to be handled in the event that the caller is outside our serviceable zip code range. So just go ahead and put a fail-safe number here so no phone calls have a chance to slip through the cracks. So when everything looks good, go ahead and click save, and this will pull up a prompt notification that will ask you to confirm whether or not you'd like to purchase the phone number. Go ahead and click yes, and then you'll get a congratulations prompt that will congratulate you on acquiring the phone number that you just purchased. So all of the phone numbers that you've purchased so far will be listed and located here in the My Numbers tab. You can also turn off and on purchase phone numbers whenever convenient by clicking the pause button right next to the phone number that you'd like to suspend. Now, suspending a phone number will not cause you to disown a phone number. That's not what this would do. It would just suspend the phone number so that it can't be called in. The call log is where you'll find your virtual call center. This is where you can listen to all of the incoming phone calls and have them sorted by either office name, source, phone number, or campaign label. You can click on the green play button to listen to that particular phone call in its entirety. And this is especially helpful because you now have the opportunity to listen to every single phone call so that you can make sure that your tax preparers and your managers are relaying the most correct information that they need to be relaying to the customer. You can also make sure for quality assurance and training purposes on how you would like phone calls to be handled however you'd like. And this is a crucial tool because now you have the opportunity to listen to every incoming phone call that enters your business and make sure that your reps, tax preparers, and managers are not only relaying the correct information to the client, but also implementing the highest level of customer service that can be rendered to every potential and existing client that calls in. Because we all know that there's a cost associated with everything in business. So we want to make sure that we have every opportunity to close our clients once they call in. You can also get a quick snapshot of how the day's going by looking at the top of the call log and seeing the metrics that are provided. Total calls are displayed here, and this is a year-to-date total, as well as all of the unique calls, and these are calls from a different phone number or a call from a number that hasn't been logged into the phone log yet. You'll see other metrics such as the number of phone calls that were directed to a busy line, no answer when a call was made, missed calls, failed calls, and canceled calls. Lastly, we'll go over the reports menu. The reports menu is where you can view analytics and summon a report for every important metric in your business. All of these reports will be sent directly to your email address. And last but definitely not least, let's go over the marketing report, which allows us to view call tracking, which displays our phone analytics in a very clear and easy to read display so that we know which form of marketing is giving us the best and most effective form of ROI. The marketing report displays the total calls, total callers, average ring and talk time, the top marketing call source, as well as the busiest call volume day and hour. These metrics are further broken down into charts that display the different campaigns and their appropriate values, so you know which marketing method is giving you the best return on investment. Look, we know the tax season window is very small and it goes by very quick. So it's important to protect yourself and be armed with the knowledge of which marketing medium to funnel your funds into so you can give yourself the best opportunity to have a knockout season.